Hello, friends. Today I thought I'd talk a bit about two things, which is first, what I eat in a usual day of being a carnivore slash being on the GAPS introduction diet. And secondly, I wanted to talk a little bit about this, which is a book by Natasha Campbell McBride. It's about the GAPS diet, the gut and physiology syndrome, or gut and psychology syndrome. So first, let me just talk about what like a typical day of eating looks like, which is pretty easy to describe because pretty much every day of eating at the moment looks the same for me. I used to eat only beef. Usually I made it in the air fryer, and now my diet looks a little bit different because of the GAPS diet, because of what I found there. And one of the biggest differences in my healing has been so far to make chicken meat stock and then eat that together with the chicken or with beef. So a common day of eating looks like this. I get up usually at 7 or 8 a.m. and I'm typically quite hungry when I get up, so I do have breakfast. I have 3 meals a day usually, sometimes even 4, depending on how hungry I am. And when I get up, the first thing I do is I heat up either the meat broth that I made the day before and that is left over, or I make some new meat broth. And how I make the meat broth is I just take like a whole chicken. I buy like free range organic chicken. I take the whole chicken, put it in the pot, add some veggies like carrots, onion. You can add some garlic if you like, just for the taste and the flavor. And then boil that chicken in the pot together with the veggies and add some salt and perhaps some pepper. Boil that for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then you can simply drink the broth and eat the meat of the bones from the chicken. So usually that's what I will eat for breakfast. And sometimes I will have, small pieces of carrots that I cook with the broth together with the chicken. I will eat that as well. Not too many carrots because I'm still careful with the fiber. You're not supposed to have too much fiber in your diet in the beginning, especially because it's harder to digest for your gut. So I'm mostly focused on the meat still. So that's what I eat for breakfast. Usually I tend to eat chicken for breakfast because the beef tends to sit a bit heavier in my stomach. So my stomach is it's a bit more difficult to digest beef than chicken, like overall, I would say. I think that might be because the beef is aged that I'm consuming, and I've heard other people talk about that. Unaged beef is a lot easier to digest, but I haven't been able to source that from a good quality source yet so far, so I'm still eating the aged beef. So that will be breakfast. Then for lunch, I like to really, switch things up and make and eat the chicken. Take the chicken stock that I made before, and then add some ground beef. I make like little meatballs kind of, and I boil the meat. I cook the meatballs in the chicken stock. So just put it in a pot, put the chicken stock in a pot, add the meatballs, cook them for like 20 minutes, maybe add a carrot here or there, like depending on how I feel that day. And then that's pretty much it. And then I eat the meatballs out of a bowl with the chicken broth. And that's usually my lunch. And that's really it. And then surprise, for dinner, I'm having chicken broth. And I usually like to eat chicken at night because it makes me feel good. I tend to get good sleep. My digestive system is not overloaded when I eat chicken broth and chicken meat at night. So I have very good sleep. So I just eat the broth together with the chicken. Now I tend to take the meat out of the broth before and peel off all the meat and the fatty parts off the bones, and then put them back in the bowl because I don't like having everything mixed in the bowl and then I have to like spit everything out that isn't consumable from the chicken. But I try to eat as many parts of the chicken as possible, so even the kind of gelatinous parts that are attached to the bones, like the tendons and the ligaments that are the connective tissue in the bones, that's supposed to be very helpful in healing your gut as well. So I try to consume as many parts, basically everything that's edible from the chicken I try to eat. That's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's what I usually eat in a day. And yesterday, for the first time, actually, as is suggested by this wonderful book as well, I added an egg yolk to the broth in the evening. So you simply take an egg and separate the white from the yolk, and then you take the egg yolk and add it to the broth, and you kind of stir it around, and it quickly dissolves and makes the broth like even more nutritious by adding some really important nutrients that are in egg. Now, I didn't have any really bad reaction to that egg yolk in my broth yesterday, so I might continue to do this today, depending on how I feel in the evening. I might take it very slow and just add an egg yolk every 2 days to see how my body reacts. But so far, my skin has felt really good today. I haven't had any allergic reactions to egg yolk, so it's looking good with the introduction of the egg yolk. I'm very excited about this, as you can probably imagine, after having eaten beef and some honey for only about 2 to 3 months. So egg yolk makes me super excited. It's a weird thing to say. But yeah, that's pretty much what I consume in a day. I forgot to mention. Sometimes I add some sauerkraut juice, homemade sauerkraut juice, just like a teaspoon to the broth as well, which is a probiotic that helps repopulate your gut. It's very gentle. Instead of taking a probiotic in capsule form or like a powder, it's very gentle to use something homemade. Yeah, from the sauerkraut, just the juice, not the sauerkraut itself, because that has a lot of fiber. So just a little bit of the juice added to the broth helps your body to digest the food more properly. So that would be it, I think, for my current diet. Yeah, and as I said, the transition from eating only fried and grilled beef to making broth and meat stock has been really significant for me, especially in terms of digestion. Like, my body seems to be able to tolerate and handle and digest the broth much better, and I feel a lot better than eating only the beef. So that has been a really big transition, and I really that was the first time that I heard about especially the broth was from the GAPS diet from Dr. Natasha, so all credit to her. And I highly recommend this book. I'm starting to read it right now, and I'll try to keep you guys posted. I didn't get to the book now. I don't know. I'll discuss the book next time. When I have read a bit further, actually, that would be probably helpful. So I think that's it for today. I'll keep it kind of short today because I have some stuff to do, some errands to run. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon, and hopefully see you next time. I have a guest coming on actually this weekend. We'll record a short podcast / interview thing. So that will be out next week, and hopefully that will bring some important information to everybody out there who's trying to heal on eczema. So stay strong, stay healthy, and all the best to you.